Oh.
Is everything okay?
I miss the toad.
I miss having a toad too. But you know, we had to take that toad back to the pond because that's where their habitat is. They need to live with other amphibians.
Well, maybe you can get another amphibian.
Well, see, I don't think an amphibian is the best pet for me to have because they kind of need to live near water. But your question makes me want to do some research about amphibians. And I just so happen to have a book called Amphibians. But I want to play a little game while we do this. I already know some amphibians, but this book might tell me more animals that are amphibians. So my friends watching, I want you at your house to get a pencil and a notepad or a notebook, and we can be researchers and take notes together about amphibians. I'll show you how. Did you get your notepad and your pencil yet? Good. Now, I'm gonna write on my whiteboard, and you write on your notepad, and we'll take notes together. What I want to take notes about are different types of amphibians that I know. So at the top of my notes, I'm gonna write the word amphibians. I'll write it, and now you write it. Here I go. It's a long word, but I've written it a few times now, so I know how to spell it. Amphibians. Now, before we even start reading, do we already know some amphibians that we can list? What are they? Frogs and toads. You're right. Okay, so on my list first, I'm going to write frogs. Frog. Frogs. Next, I'm going to write toads. Toads. Perfect. I've got frogs and toads on my amphibians list. Do you have them on yours yet? Okay, now anytime while we're reading that I make a connection about a new type of amphibian, I'm going to stop reading and I'm going to add it to my list, and then maybe you can add it to your list. I wonder how many amphibians we're going to come up with. So now, without further ado, let's get into this book. Amphibians. Table of contents. Wet and dry, page 4. What makes an amphibian, page 22. Let's take a look. Wet and dry. Look! What is that? A toad! A toad is an amphibian. So is a frog. Oh my goodness. Salaman. Oh look, you can see the word man right in the middle of that word. Salamander. A salamander. That's the salamander. They labeled him. A newt. This animal is a newt. So salamander, newt. Looks like we just saw some new amphibians. The first amphibian that we heard was a salamander. That's kind of like a lizard.
Are lizards amphibians too?
You know, I don't know if all lizards are amphibians. Let's research that. But for now, I'm going to put salamanders on my list of amphibians. That's a long word, so let's write it together by making the sounds. Al. First part says sal. Sal. Am. The word am, just like in amphibians. Salam. And. A and B. And. Salamanders. ER. And I'm going to add an S to make it plural. Salamanders. And the other animal that we saw on that page was, do you remember the name of it? Newt. I've never actually seen a newt in person before, but they're kind of cute looking. I'll have to research more about where they live. I haven't seen one, but let's add that to our list too. Newt. Newt. Those are the 4 amphibians that we know so far. Amphibians can live in water. They can live on land too. They start life in water. A frog lays eggs in a pond. Look, the eggs hatch. The eggs hatch. Tadpoles. Eggs, tadpoles. Tadpoles are young frogs. They have no arms or legs. They have tails. Tail. They swim. They have gills. Oh, they have gills. They can breathe in water. Soon they grow arms. They grow legs. They can hop. They grow lungs. They can breathe air. Now they can live on land. Amphibians are cool. What makes an amphibian? Here it says cold-blooded. An amphibian's body temperature is determined by its environment. Skin. Amphibians have smooth, moist skin. Eggs. Amphibians are born from eggs. Tail. Amphibians are born with tails. Salamanders and newts keep their tails, but toads and frogs don't. Now that last page of the book was interesting. It told us what an animal has to have to be an amphibian. The text told us these 4 amphibians, and Grumpy Monkey, you were asking about a lizard earlier, so I'm going to think about a lizard and connect it back to that page. It said that amphibians start out as eggs. Lizards do start out as eggs. Amphibians have tails. Lizards do have tails. Amphibians have slimy bodies. I picked up a lizard one time. Its body was not slimy. It was very scaly, like a snake. Lizards also don't live in the water. They kind of like to be in the sun or in the woods. Scaly animals that like to be in the woods or like to be in the sun sometimes are reptiles, like turtles, snakes, and lizards. So that one is not an amphibian. But today, we're going to get to teach everybody some common things about amphibians. Are you ready? Let's do it. For your assignment today, we're going to do some writing about amphibians. Now don't worry, because if you've been keeping your list with me, and if you've been using your eyes and ears, this is going to be easy. What we have here are 2 sentences. Let's see what they say. Are amphibians. I wonder what word I could put here. Are amphibians. We get to choose a type of amphibian to write on this line. Frogs are amphibians. What else do you think you could write? Toads are amphibians. Salamanders are amphibians. Newts are amphibians. Those are all choices that we could write there. Let's check our second sentence. All it says is one word. They. Frogs are amphibians. They. On this line, I'm going to write how we know frogs are amphibians. To do that, I'm going to have to think of what makes a frog or what makes my animal an amphibian. Let's think about what the text told us. Ready? Let's do this together. Do you have a paper that you can write on while I'm writing, just like this? Let's see. The first thing we need to do is write the type of amphibian that we're going to write our sentence about. Grumpy Monkey, what amphibian should we choose?
A toad.
I thought he might say that. Okay, let's write toads. You can choose toads with us, or you can choose another amphibian, just like from our list. So here I go. Toads. Since toads is the first word in my sentence, what kind of letter should that start with? Capital. You got it. Capital T O A D. But I'm putting an S at the end because I'm talking about all toads. Grumpy Monkey, could you check to make sure that our sentence makes sense?
Toads are
Makes sense
amphibians.
to me. Now here we go. Next sentence. This is where we get to make our connections. Toads are amphibians. They... What is something about toads, a detail that we know, that makes them an amphibian? Let's see. What do you think?
They hop.
Now that's an interesting one. Grumpy Monkey said, hop. Toads are amphibians. They hop. Now, in a way that makes sense because toads do hop. But the text didn't say that all amphibians hop because I don't think salamanders hop. I don't know about the newts. But that's something that toads and frogs do, but maybe not all amphibians. Grumpy Monkey, can you think of something else that's true about all amphibians that toads also do or have?
Well, they have tails when they're babies.
Oh, good one. Grumpy Monkey says that toads are amphibians. They have tails when they are babies. That's true, because remember the text said that all amphibians are born with tails. Some of them keep them, and some of them, like frogs, lose them. But for now, let's go with Grumpy Monkey and say they have tails when they are babies. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of words, but we can do it. They, if you haven't written they, go ahead and write that on your paper. And now I'm going to do a finger space. They have, that's a sight word. Have, base propy. They have tails. Ooh, let me use my sounds on that one. Finger space. A. I hear Mr. A. Tail. Tails. You might have found a different way to spell tail. And if you did, awesome. They have tails when and when they, oh, it's already here. The only thing I'm going to change is to make the T lowercase because it's not the first letter anymore. They have tails when they, oh, Grumpy Monkey, what's wrong?
There's no more room.
Oh, don't worry, Grumpy Monkey. Silly monkey. It's okay if we've already gotten to the end of the line. That line is just to help us know where our words go. We can always write more. We can always go to the next line. So let's keep going. They have tails when they, I'll come here to this line, are, sight word A, R, E, okay? They have tails when they are, finger space, babies, oh my. B, A, B, E's, babies. They have tails when they are babies. And now at the end of my sentence, I put a period. Okay, let's check to make sure both sentences make sense. Toads are amphibians. They have tails when they are
babies. That told you a type of amphibian, and it told you a detail or connection about how we know they're an amphibian. If you just did this with me, kiss your brain. So smart. And if you want a level 4 challenge, stay tuned right now because we're about to get it. Ready? Are you ready for it? Are you still here? Level 4? Okay, here we go. What? We have 2 more sentences. Now listen, if you need to take a break, take a break. If you need someone to help you, you can wait for someone to help you. You can also go to the next slide and see kind of an easier way to do it. But for my friends who want to impress your teacher and you want your teacher to look at your work and say, whoa, oh, they're ready for first grade. Stay with me, okay? We told why toads are amphibians. Now check out my new sentence. Are not amphibians. Oh, now that's not so hard. We thought of 4 amphibians, but I know a lot of animals that are not amphibians. Can you think of an animal that's not an amphibian? Grumpy Monkey, can you think of an animal that's not an amphibian?
Yeah, a monkey.
You're right. A monkey is not an amphibian. He is absolutely right about that. So we're going to say monkeys. You can choose monkeys or you can choose any animal you want that is not an amphibian. Ready?
Okay, so my first word in this sentence is monkeys. Since it is the first word, I'm starting it with a capital letter. Monkeys. Oh, let me use my sounds. Monkeys. Monkeys are not amphibians. That's true. Let's look at our next sentence. They. Okay, Grumpy Monkey, let's think about this. What do monkeys do or have that makes us know they're not an amphibian?
We have fur.
He's right. They have fur. The text told me amphibians have smooth or slimy skin. They do not have fur. So let's write in our sentence. Okay, monkeys are not amphibians. They have fur. They can't be an amphibian. They have fur. Okay, they, finger space. I already wrote have up here. That's easy. They have fur. They have fur. Period. Did we just write 2 sentences? Let's check what they say. Monkeys are not amphibians. They have fur. Way to go!
Look at this hard work that we did today. We wrote about an amphibian and gave a connection. We wrote about a not amphibian and gave a connection. I wonder if you can do that today. If you wrote this with me today, maybe you could add a picture to it if you want, and then try to send it to your teacher. You can use Seesaw. If you don't want to do that and you would like to do the next activity on this slide, keep going for more directions. Thanks for writing with me, friends. I'll see you later.